We have finally reached spring weather, I think, in New York. I'm like scared to say it. I'm like, wait, I don't want to jinx it. But it's been so nice the last couple days. I'm about to go take a walk outside after this episode. Woo! I'm excited. Anyway, welcome back to the Mind Your Hormones podcast. My intention for this episode is for you to feel really validated in the fact that you feel like you've tried everything and you have done a lot, and why that feels so defeating and how we can get you out of that, right? So if you've been trying to get pregnant for a while, right, and you're like, okay, you eat healthy, you're taking your supplements, you're tracking your cycle, you're reading the books, you're listening to the podcast, and you're still not pregnant, this is who this episode is for. Because what I see with the large majority of the women that I work with is that they're actually 75 to 80% of the way there when it comes to creating a strong and healthy environment for pregnancy, right? They're not starting at ground zero. They're not like, they have no idea how to support their health. They have no idea what impacts their fertility. Like, they have a good amount of knowledge from it, partly from this podcast, right? Partly from just, other research and practitioners they maybe worked with. But this means that the problem usually isn't that you're doing nothing and you're doing a ton of the wrong things. It's that you're missing a few strategic pieces that's going to close that final 20% gap. But this is why you feel so defeated, and why so many women who are trying to conceive, who are health conscious and who are trying to do this naturally, feel so defeated, because you have already put in so much effort. You do feel like you're doing everything right. And every month that passes feels like proof that it's not working. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, what else can I possibly do when you're already doing so much, and every negative pregnancy test feels heavier and heavier, because you're thinking, if all of this effort isn't working, like, what else is left? I guess I have to go towards IUI or IVF, even though I don't want to. And again, there's always a time and place for that. But this is where your mind is going, because you're like, well, I don't understand how I could be doing all this, putting all this effort in, making changes that I know were supportive to my fertility, but it's still not working. But again, the truth is, most of you are not starting at zero. You're starting at 75 or 80%. And the hardest part is closing that last 20% gap. And what this looks like what the 75 to 80% usually looks like, which you have already done, is you're eating fairly healthy, right? You're eating mostly whole foods. You're probably not starting your morning off with a shot of espresso or pre-workout. People still use that? Like, I don't even know. But you're eating like mostly healthy. You're taking supplements. You might not be taking the right supplements, but you're taking supplements. You're tracking your cycle. You're trying to time sex. You're researching fertility constantly. You have made lifestyle changes, right? You've built a pretty good foundation. Your problem isn't necessarily the foundation. And this is why that last 20% is the hardest part, because that final gap, that final 20% requires precision, not more effort. Okay? Closing that final 20% is rarely, I would say never, but rarely about doing more. It is about doing the right things for your body in your current circumstances with where you're at right now. For example, small nutritional gaps, right? There are likely some things, like, again, most of the food journals that I look at for my clients, they have an awareness of blood sugar regulation. Like, they're doing things we talk about on the podcast, but there are small nutritional gaps that they're unaware of, because you can only see so much. It's like you're inside the fishbowl and like you can't see out. You know what I mean? Those small nutritional gaps, it's never a huge overhaul. Incorrect supplement protocols, like, a lot of times you're taking things that you don't actually need to be taking, but you're missing major nutrients or minerals that you actually do need, or you're just taking them at the wrong time and it's not absorbing right. Misunderstanding your baseline temperature charts, right? That's a huge thing. So you aren't even having sex at the right time. Mistimed intercourse, right? Like, you're looking at your chart, you're thinking you're having sex at the right time, you're not having sex at the right time, or you think you're ovulating, you're not ovulating, whatever it is. Nervous system dysregulation. This is, I would say, almost always part of that last 20%, because you have come so far and you feel like you have made so many changes. Now your nervous system is starting to take a hit because you're getting stressed about it. You're like, okay, well, what else am I going to do? Well, how much more do I need to do? How much more effort can I put in? What else do I need to try in order for this to work? This is never going to work. I'm going to have to do IVF or IUI, or, oh, I've already tried that and that's still not working. Like, what the hell? This nervous system dysregulation piece is always a huge part of that 20% gap, and is one of the hardest parts because of the path you've been on to get to this point right now. And then sometimes overdoing certain fertility hacks. Like, some of you, yes, you're obviously natural, like, want to think naturally get to root cause. but you still got a little of that TikTok rabbit hole in you. So you're sometimes trying the Mucinex or progesterone cream, or you're doing some teas or that spermicide lube. Like, you still got a little bit of that in you. Okay, a little bit of that going on, right? So that's part of that 20% gap too. And at this stage of where you're at, working harder usually is not what moves the needle forward. It's working smarter. Okay. Work smarter, not harder, forever and ever. Amen. Okay. Now, one of the biggest mistakes at this stage is trying to finish this out alone, trying to solve this alone, because you're like, well, I've already gone so far and I've done it all by myself. Like, I should be able to figure this out. Or you'll think that, or you'll think, well, there's literally nothing else I could do, so nobody else can help me. This just isn't going to happen for me. I'm going to have to do medical interventions. Or if you're doing medical interventions and it's not working, you're like, it's just not going to work. Right now, a lot of people stay stuck in this because you don't have an outside perspective. You don't have that personalized feedback. You have too much conflicting information. There's so much conflicting information. You don't have anyone reviewing your specific biomarkers, your specific fertility blueprint, your habits, your stress triggers, your nutrition. Like, you don't have someone specifically reviewing that. And this is why a lot of people stay stuck and don't close that 20% gap. And you also don't have any accountability, right? So when you're inside your own life, dealing with your fertility journey, your work, your family issues, your partner, your friends, like, you're just lifing the world that's on fire in general. When you're inside your own life, it's incredibly hard to see the small things that are keeping you stuck. You don't even realize they're keeping you stuck because you literally cannot see them. You literally cannot see them. If you could see them, you would be shifting it, right? And again, it's not a huge overhaul. It is almost never a huge overhaul with the women that I work with closely. It is always tiny, small tweaks that make the biggest difference. Obviously, everyone's starting from a different point, but like, I'm telling you, you listening right now, if you feel like you need to make a whole huge life overhaul, you likely do not. The small tweaks are what create the biggest results. And I will say this over and over and over and over and over again. If I got tattoos and I want a tattoo, that would maybe be one of them, like right down my arm. Small tweaks create big results. Actually, it'd probably be your body is designed to heal. But anyway, so like some of these, examples, adjusting your supplement timing. That's a huge tweak that can make a really big difference. And also the brand and the supplements that you're taking. A lot of you too get distracted with CoQ10 and like egg quality support and liver organ meats and all this shit and Vitex. Those things aren't bad inherently, but when you're focusing on that and not things that are going to support your mitochondria and your nutrient deficiencies, that's where we get into a problem, right? So adjusting your supplement timing and supplements in general, correcting your ovulation timing, making sure you're actually having sex at the right time. That is so huge. Optimizing your luteal phase support. Of course, the blood sugar stabilization, the nervous system stabilization, based off of what you're currently doing, what your life looks like when you're working out, when you're waking up, when you have a lunch break, when the stress triggers you're specifically experiencing, like personalizing that to you. Okay. That is how we close that 20% gap. You do not need personalization for that first 75 to 80%. You really don't. Some people don't need the personalization at all. So many women going through the mind your hormones method got pregnant right on their own, like because the mind your hormones method is so fucking good. You do not need personalization for the foundation, period. Every single person's human body is the same. Like the human body works, not every body is the same, but like the way your human body runs is the same. The things that affect your fertility is the same for everybody. That's what gets you to that 80%. Sometimes it gets you all the way. But if you have that foundation, whether you're in the mind hormones method or wherever else, and you're having trouble closing that 20% gap, that's where the personalization is so powerful. Okay. And a lot of that is really that nervous system work and you feeling like, okay, someone is finally telling me that I am doing these things right. So you finally feel confident in it and you double down on those things. Oh, okay. Now someone's telling me, oh, actually, I need to be doing this. Oh my God, I didn't even know I need to be doing this. Now I'll do it. And someone's there to help hold your future vision instead of you staying stuck in your current reality. Like this is so, so, so important. Okay. So when this gap finally starts closing, you're going to go from guessing to having a clear plan. You're going to feel confident in your timing, confident in your body, confident in things that you're actually doing because right now you're doing so many things right, but you aren't feeling confident and empowered because you still haven't gotten that result yet. So you are still feeling disempowered, you're second guessing yourself, you're like feeling super defeated. Meanwhile, you could be feeling so much better if you just have the confidence of the things that you are doing that are going really well, and then seeing just a small amount of things that you do need to shift. That confidence alone and that trust in yourself and your body is going to make such a huge difference in how you feel, but also in the cells of your body. Okay. So instead of constantly wondering if you're missing something, you're going to know exactly what you're doing well and exactly what you need to focus on. And this is literally how I created, well, my Try to Conceive Accelerator for sure, but also 4 weeks to fertility, which I'm currently enrolling right now. If you're listening to this in real time, we're starting on March 30th. And this is the exact reason why I created this program, because what happens within 4 weeks to fertility is that your lifestyle and your nutrition are now going to be like analyzed by me. My eyes are directly on that. I'm analyzing your basal body temperature charts. I'm giving you personalized feedback. You have a small group support around you, which this is so undervalued when it comes to trying to conceive. The majority of you who are trying to conceive right now are doing it alone in isolation, where you're the only person in your friend group who's trying to conceive or struggling with their fertility. You're the only person in your family. No one, and maybe there are other people they're struggling with their fertility, but they're not wanting to get to the bottom of it naturally from a root cause perspective, right? You are likely the only person going through this. When you get in a small group of like-minded women who are action-oriented, who are all on the same path of working towards pregnancy naturally, do you know how incredible that momentum is? It builds your momentum. It increases your energy. It increases your positivity. When you see other women taking action, it helps you be more consistent in your actions. You not only get personalized support from me, but you also are going to hear other women's questions so that you could hear what they're asking about, and that'll trigger some things in you. And you get to hear how I am supporting them. This accelerates your healing process, accelerates your fertility. It is such a more effective way, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, than working one-on-one, because you have this built-in momentum, this built-in support system. This is not a group where people are just sitting back and complaining all day. Fuck that. No one like that is coming into my space, okay? Hell motherfucking no. I could catch that shit from a mile away, okay? This is not just a complaining group. Yes, of course, we talk about the hard things. You're going to feel held and supported in that, but we're also going to then have a plan of what to do to help support yourself and get yourself out of that, right? So I am holding you in your future vision instead of your current reality, and the other women around you are helping hold you accountable and increase that momentum so that you feel excited and you feel hopeful and you have that consistent action that you're going to be taking on the things that actually are going to make a difference, and knowing and being confident that the things that you're currently doing are actually working. Okay. So this program is designed specifically for the women who are already have that foundation in place, but need help closing that final gap. Okay. You've already made changes. You feel like you're doing everything right. You want that personalization insight. You want the momentum. You want that support. Okay. So if this episode is resonating with you, where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm in that 75 to 80% place, like 4 weeks of fertility might be exactly what helps you close that gap. I'll put the application in the show notes. I only do this a couple times a year. Right now, this round is started on March 30th. So you could, if you're listening to this in real time, you could apply. If you're not listening to this in real time, you can message me or even fill out the application. I'll let you know when the next round is going to be. Whether you're going to join 4 weeks of fertility or not, what I really want you to know with this episode is that you're probably so much closer than you think. You are probably so much closer than you think. And I want that to give you so much hope instead of feeling like so far away from the goal. Because you can feel so far away from it when you've been working towards it for so long and you have been making so many changes and you're still not seeing that result. That could be so incredibly defeating. But sometimes you don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need the right adjustments. Okay. And you're likely just a couple steps away from having your healthy pregnancy. And it might not feel like that right now, but that really is the truth for so many women. And that doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight, right? That doesn't mean like, oh, I do this one thing and then it happens next month. Like that's not what it means. But it does mean that you're not at the start of the path. You're not even probably in the middle of it. You're probably 3/4 of the way there. And that's when it's so hard to keep going. That's when most people stop and give up, right? That's when most people are like, this. Yo, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm broken down. And like rightfully so. You've probably had so many heartbreaks up and downs through this journey. I don't know you specifically, but maybe you have experienced miscarriages. Maybe you have been experiencing many failed rounds of IVF, IUI, whatever it is. Like my heart goes out to you. So I wish I could give you a hug through the screen right now. But you are not going to give up because that's not who you are. And if you just knew that you weren't at the beginning, you don't have to run a full marathon. You just need to get yourself that last 20%. I hope this episode gives you that energy you need to help push you past that finish line and get the support you need to get there. Whether that's joining 4 Weeks to Boost Fertility, whether that's getting a Dutch test or a gut test or working with a practitioner, or maybe it's just the pep talk you needed and that was it. And now this is changing your total mindset and that's changing your cells and then it's going to happen for you, right? It's different for everybody. But I want this to give you the hope that you need to know that you're closer than you think. You're closer than you think. Things can change so quickly. It doesn't always have to be a long, drawn-out process. Sometimes it is, but it doesn't always have to be that way. So I love you so much. I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you next episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.